But now he's completely off the rails, and he does become Richard Ramirez, the serial killer.
On June the 28th, 1984, 79-year-old Jenny Vivancos was found brutally stabbed to death in her Los Angeles home. Her dress was pulled up, suggesting a sexual assault had taken place. The knife wounds were so severe, she had almost been decapitated. Ramirez's reign of terror had begun.
Homicides that are dealt with day to day are cases where people have been angry or where there's a domestic dispute. They're not really the sort of planned, orchestrated murders that we see in cases like Ramirez. In those cases, you can see bizarre behaviour, both to the body before death and mutilation after death, and that's very much more about what's in the mind of the killer.
Ramirez did not appear to favour any particular method of killing. He would murder his victims by any means necessary, and that made it even harder for investigators to decide who had committed the crimes.
He would stab, he would shoot, he would stamp, he would rape, he would force himself on people orally. Really, he just seemed to revel in acts of violence and violation.
The man known as the Valley Intruder was spreading his wings. Very soon, he'd have a new nickname. Every cop in California wanted to get their hands on Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. 5-year-old Richard Ramirez had killed 13 people and attempted to murder a further 5 in the Los Angeles region of California. His random break-ins meant that anyone could be a potential victim. And his
prey, lots of people start chasing after him, and eventually they catch up with him.
As the local police arrived to break up the melee, it took a bit of time to realize who they had sitting in the back of their squad car. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was off the streets and in police custody. 1985, Richard Ramirez was finally in custody. The man known as the Night Stalker had been charged with 13 murders and 5 attempted murders in Los Angeles County between June 1984 and August 1985. His victims ranged in age between 16 and 83. 3 were men and 15 were women. Investigators were keen to interrogate the 25-year-old devil worshipper.
Normally, when I would interview somebody, I would try to empathize with them or get them to break down emotionally about their crimes.
He had a pentagram written on his hand, and he shouted out at the top of his voice, "Hail Satan."
Dick reports had also linked the murders to the same gun belonging to Ramirez. The defense argued that all the evidence was circumstantial. There was all the San Francisco murders, although Frank Falzon did at least get to officially charge him.
And he had that smile on his face that he always gave before he lifted up his hand and showed the pentagram symbol.
Despite his heinous acts, Ramirez had acquired a cult-like status. He had many adoring female fans write to him throughout his trial and during his incarceration.
Ramirez became a celebrity in his own right, and he had groupies. He had marriage proposals. He had women that wanted to come and visit him at the prison.
He's a sick person.
In a terrifying murder spree, Richard Ramirez broke into the sanctuary of people's homes and savagely took their lives for his own selfish needs. Although officially responsible for 13 murders in Los Angeles, he is likely to have claimed many more victims across California.